Yeah, I know we're late. That's okay though. You know why? Because you can't even tell. You can't even tell. I have a brand new table. The table that was here was the shits, and it's better now because Brett is here. Brett,
Hey,
you're here. They can hear you, but they can't hear you. Here you go.
hit the ground running. Just came right in and built the table, and here we are.
Here we are indeed. So we're going to be doing some stuff, myself and Steph, and we are going to be talking about Andor. Is it Andor? We're going to talk about Andor. We're going to talk about the spoilers for this episode. So buckle up. We're also going to talk about Bob Iger saying the Thunderbolts is the plan. It was the plan the whole way through. And then Steph is going to be working on her lonesome to try to defeat Roxy once again today. And I feel like she's going to do it because Mike's not here. So we'll see if that's true or not. That's it, everybody. Let's get to the show. It's myself. It's Steph Sabra. Here is the show. Are you ready? Me too. All right. Let's pick it up. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Kristian Harloff Show today on this Thursday. Joining me as always, Steph Sabra is here. Hello, Steph.
Hi. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you. Isn't it nice to have the comfortable voice of Brett in the studio?
Yes, I heard him and I was like, oh no, is this a fever dream? And it was real. It's real, guys.
We had some journey last night at the airport. I'll tell you this. The poor guy.
I love airport stories.
So this guy, he tells me, he's like, I'm coming in at like 10:15, right? Not his fault. His flight gets in early. I was putting my little one to sleep. That's
rare.
That I was putting her to sleep.
Oh, that a flight. No. You're parenting. No, what the hell? No, that a flight gets in early these days.
It's true. And it got in early. And so he was like, I checked my phone as I get out of her room and it's like, hey, are you away? I'm like, nope. And so he's like, don't worry, I'm at the bar. I'm fine. So okay, he was very cool, calm, and collected about it. And so, as you know, Steph, LAX is like Satan's asshole.
Yes, it is.
It's the worst. However, what I will give it over JFK is, you go to Terminal 1 when you're driving to pick someone up. You pass Terminal 1, where do you go? Terminal 2, and then if you pass Terminal 2, you get to Terminal 3. You can go in a loop, and you'll eventually. You get the 7, maybe you have to loop back again. That I give it. JFK, you make one right turn because you're supposed to go this. Which way am I supposed to go? It's a labyrinth. I made a right instead of left. I was back on the highway, and 10 minutes, and 3 minutes to 10 minutes, and then Brett's tracking my location the whole way through. It's like 3 minutes, 7 minutes, 12 minutes. There he goes.
Probably like, oh my god, you were like. He's like, this idiot. It's like when you're watching an Uber driver not take the right turn.
He understood what was going on because then as there's arrivals and departures. So I'm like, okay, I found JetBlue. I got it.
Oh, no.
So I go. Now it's arrivals and departures. Arrivals are now cut off, or you can't even access arrivals. No. So I'm like, well, how are you supposed to pick anybody up? So there you go to departure, and it's like a parking lot when I get up there. So Brett's like, I'll walk up there. I'm like, they're pushing us out, up back on the highway, right? So there he is now waiting up there.
Oh no!
I get back now to get him. Completely empty. Nobody's there. He's just there waving like this in the same spot that I just was in. Picked him up, got him, gave him a beer. Wife had some shepherd's pie, took a nap or sleep, and then came back and here we are. My you know what? You want to hear something hilarious? And this is you love Maisie stories.
Yeah.
So Maisie goes, Dad, Brett coming into town this week? I said, yeah. She's like, what'd you do? She's like, I'm hiding all my cereal. she took her Fruit Loop Cheerios and hid it in her tent. And it looks like a book, but it's like underneath two bags. It's hilarious.
I know kids are supposed to want to share, but I totally feel them when they're like, it's mine. I like my nephew does that. He'll be like, that's mine. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. That is yours.
She does not want
Kristian, let's not blow past like a few things you mentioned.
How
was the I need to know the energy in your car. Like, are you freaking out? Do you have
No,
like
we were laughing,
no,
cracking.
you're just like whatever. This is the vibe.
Well, without Brett in the car, or with Brett,
Without Brett in the
without
car.
Brett in the car, I was getting frustrated. Not angry, but frustrated. I was like, "Who built this? Who built this? David Bowie? Like, who built this?" It's so stupid the way that it's built. It's like, and it's not easy. It's like you can't even barely see where they push you off to. I'm like, this is stupid that you
Yeah.
can't even go. Like, I hate LAX, but it is the inside. The problem with LAX is getting there, and like it becomes the parking lot before you even getting into the airport. That's the problem with LAX.
Yeah, right.
But they both suck shit is the bottom line here.
That's the bottom line. Second and last question. I hear about shepherd's pie, I feel like in fairy tales. I didn't know that was like people really made that, including your wife.
Oh yeah, it's one of her go-to dishes, and yeah, people love it. Brett ranking on the shepherd's pie.
I give it a 3 out of 3.
Like so you got to see. You got to see what's going on here. Like, this is like, I had this big stupid table that I hated so much. Yeah, it basically like pinned me against the wall. Like, when I was, for the longest time, it was like this long conference table that was here, and I would just be like this to try to get through. There's this little table that he set up. Both he and Luke are going to be in heaven, because they're going to set up the lights. Lighting's get better. The audience is going to be better. Oh man.
Oh, good.
So good. Anyway, so let's discuss and talk about some things, because that's what we're going to do here today. Steph, you're working again. It's not too. It's manageable what you're working with here today. You're working with about 76, I believe. 76. Luke will give me the.
Okay, let's go.
I think you just have. You got 5 at the moment, but 76 I think is a pretty good. Especially you, Mike, not here. I'd say you might be in trouble if Mike was here, but he's not. So I think you can beat him.
We got this.
I think so. All right, let's talk about. We're gonna bring up Andor spoilers here, guys. So if you have not seen the last 3 episodes, I highly recommend you beat it. And we're gonna have Luke hasn't done it yet, but he's going to. He's working on a spoiler graphic, so I'll make sure that I can put that up there. There are the one thing I said: there's no cows and there's no chickens.
Cock?
Yeah, chickens. Roosters, I guess. So we are going to make sure that you guys know when we're ending. We'll have a spoiler graphic eventually, but right now we're going to be talking about Andor. So, and I told you, I warned you. Let's start with this. Steph, I know you too well. You love these episodes.
I mean, really, of course. I was instantly, because I had forgotten. I couldn't remember if you were talking about the finale or the what arc you were talking about. And as soon as I was like, this is it. And I almost was like, oh, this is it, right, Kristian? But then I was like, I don't even need to text him, because I'm gonna see him. This is obviously it. I was just like, this word has never been used before as much, like, well, enthralled. I was enthralled. Like, so good. It was so impactful. It just so deserving of the characters that they built, and some of the endings that we got with some of the characters. It's like, I wasn't expecting it that way. I thought that things were going to happen a certain way, and it happened completely different. And it was just, all 3 episodes were incredible. Obviously 8 being a standout, but 9 had some moments for me that were even more special. So it's like, it's hard to say. It's like you have to view it as the arc as a whole, but it is one of the best. Like, yeah, it's like it's the best in recent memory. Obviously, it's barring the original trilogy, but it just is like, I can't believe that that's the Star Wars we're getting.
This is brilliant. The word is brilliant. It's like people throw that word around all the time. This word is relevant for this show. This show is brilliant. It is everything that I was talking about, because anytime people were pushing back about saying, things are like, oh, the show's boring, it's this, that, and I'm like, take it easy and wait until you get to 7, 8, 9, because all of that stuff that happens in the first 6 is the lead up to this.
Totally.
It's all relevant to this. And it's like, well, nothing's really happening. It's like, you haven't seen the show yet. Because oh, the slow stuff. If you didn't get that stuff that led up to all the Gorman stuff and all the buildup and all the things that were going on and all the cast of the characters that were leading up to trying to figure out what is happening and how this resistance was a freaking design by the Empire and how brutal they are in order to do that. And the stuff that happens, I wish I had a camera on you during the Cyril and Deidre stuff when they,
oh my gosh,
what was going through your mind during that?
I was like,
right.
I was like, clutch the pearls.
Yep,
this
same.
is high drama. And because I feel like we're viewing things from like the Star Wars frame that we've been seeing, even though Andor has separated itself in a lot of frames, I'm still like shocked by some of the character choices because I'm not expecting it.
Right.
But then when you really think about it, you're like, Serial is
I
the
love that you just called him.
definition.
I just loved that you just called him cereal.
It's so Southern California of me.
Love that.
Cereal is like so.
I make Maisie have the cereal.
Cereal can't be serious right now. No, he is the saddest character I think I've ever viewed in Star Wars, where he is the ultimate pawn. He is such a great representation of how the evil billionaires and powers that be and awful leaders will just take people and veil this story and this mystery, and then for his moments to be like, she was nothing, Andor didn't even know my name.
Who are you? Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah, he was a nobody.
Like,
and that was
nobody.
No, it was the whole, he was just, all he wanted his entire life and was to be relevant. And the whole thing, this is what I always loved about the books when I was reading them, was that the ones with the Empire, they made you care about the characters in the Empire. They weren't just kind of like these, black and white villains to where, well, they're the Empire, so they're the bad guys. Yeah, and they're the bad guys, but you get layers about who they are and what they're doing in general. And Cyril, his whole existence of how he was infiltrating. And I was watching my reaction when I was watching the show, I thought he was going to have the moment of when, going undercover, and that kind of Donnie Brasco moment, of starting to really relate to the cause of what's happening. And ultimately he did, right? He felt he saw he was lied to by the woman that he loved and all this different thing. He's ultimately just a pawn in a cog, if you will. And all of these things that were going on with him, that level of frustration when and Andor, the guy who just set all of this up, and he has that fight. And as you said, Andor doesn't know who the hell he is. They're just having this fight. Andor can tell this guy clearly doesn't like me for some reason.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is the whole thing where the guy, the main, the father figure of the Resistance, who's telling them, don't go to this thing. He's like, he has a feeling for it. He's the one who ultimately caps Cyril, and he didn't even realize that Cyril was kind of having a come around. So it's really a tragic story of Cyril when you think about it.
Right. I wasn't expecting that to be the person who took out Cyril, but that made sense because I was like, he's taken everything from him. He was the ultimate snitch and he didn't even know what he was doing. But to them, they're like, you probably knew exactly what you were doing. Like, how would you not have the knowledge? But yeah, he was just like a great interpretation of when a lot of people respect order, they respect the laws, they respect justice in a system, but then they fall into this system and don't realize that the system that they've pledged their entire life to isn't even about what they said they were about. So it was pretty tragic and really exemplary of people today, I think, who don't even realize the umbrella that they're fighting under, because it started as one thing and it's become something completely different. And to watch it evolve in these multiple arcs, the Empire and the Resistance, is what I loved about this arc. It's like you really see where they've come in the past 2 years, both of them with their plans.
Right.
And this like realistic look at how both sides will have wins and losses. But their ultimate goal was they played the long game and it worked. And it was I was watching this interview with Tony Gilroy and he's like, we knew we had to do something with Gorman, and we knew that Mon Mothma was going to have this speech. and then they just did a perfect job of knowing what they're doing and then just building the world around it.
What's hilarious about it, we can get into it in a second because there's an article at Serial I want to read, but there is something that's pretty funny where it just shows you, I've said it many times over and it's proven in this episode, Filoni will make every single person keep canon. If it's Rebels, you better keep canon and Rebels. But what if it's canon to the books and the comics? Oh, I don't give a shit. You can change it. And I will give you an example of that in a moment. But before we do that, Cyril Andor star Kyle Solar is the gentleman's name. He talks about his fate in Andor. Okay, so I just want to do something real quick. The good and bad news is, like I said, the better news is that the studio is being worked on. The bad news, I just don't have my setup like it normally is. But Andor season 2 provided to be a tough watch for a number of reasons. Episode 8, obviously, and Kyle Solar has weighed in on the fate of his character, Cyril Karn. After obsessively hunting Andor since the very first episode, Cyril Karn finally got his hands on the Rebel pilot in season 2, episode 8, but a moment's hesitation ended up costing him everything. Towards the end of Who Are You?, Cyril learns the truth about the Empire's evil plans for Gorman and stumbles through the protesters in a daze before catching sight of Andor just as he's about to assassinate Dedra Meero. Karn brutally attacks the man he views as his sworn enemy, ultimately managing to gain the upper hand when they're both knocked down by a nearby grenade blast. Cyril's about to shoot the nemesis, the one he created in his mind at least, but Andor's question, "Who are you?" causes him to hesitate, and he is shot dead by revolutionary leader Cairo Rylance. A sad end for a pathetic but fascinating character who realized far too late that he had dedicated himself to a regime built on lies and conquest. He built up this totem of Cassian, this kind of voodoo doll, and the fact that he wasn't even a blip on Cassian's radar is crushing to him, he tells The Hollywood Reporter. He's so desperate to be remembered and to make a difference. It is a cut too deep by that point. He's been betrayed by Dedra and the Empire, and now his one true obsession doesn't even think he's worth remembering. He's heartbroken. Despite witnessing the Empire's massacre of innocent protesters, Solar doesn't believe Cyril would have defected to the rebellion ever if he had survived. I still don't think he would have joined the rebel side. I don't think he would have joined his side at all. I think he would have been so traumatized by those last 10 minutes that he would just wander off somewhere to live alone. I think he's right. I think he's 100% right. Steph, what do you think about these comments overall?
Oh yeah, I think that it's crazy seeing how important of a character he has become, and like we're following his journey with the Empires, and he's such a good POV for that. But I think the same thing. He would have been so lost. I mean, maybe he would have gone back to his mom, who I'm obsessed with now, Catherine Hunter, and
I'm
want
glad
to see
you
her.
like
And
me,
I've,
Steph. Thank you.
yeah, you are my queen. And
Thank you.
Roxy made a great point that I think you could play my grandma or mom in.
Okay.
Do you see it?
I feel like that's good as long as you invite me over for Christmas for sushi.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, so Cyril would have been a lost puppy not knowing what to do. He would have never joined the rebellion unless he got like a first class trip to see what it's like and see if there's organization, which there's not. They're trying to begin that step of like having more set up organization of who's in power within the rebellion, but no, he's too OCD to be there right now.
No, and it just, there's so much evil going on. Like, this is like full on. This, I've said it a million times over. So I saw this comment on one of the reaction videos that I did. So like, I can't believe you haven't mentioned Nazi Germany. I was like, that's all I have been mentioning. This is straight up 1940s Europe. This is showing how evil. This is the most evil that the Empire has ever been in anything, even outside the original trilogy, because we have more time to layer them out and to see what they did, and to see like the calculated plan doesn't just make them, it makes it, you see the way that they put this all together, and that Dedra was the one who was the architect with Krennic and telling them that you had to do these things to set this up, make them believe that they were actually having this cause, and to watch all the death and destruction, the way they planted and they sacrificed their own people and the reserves, if you will. It was so tragic and so well done. And it's like, what makes me sad, Steph? this kind of Star Wars will never be made again under the current regime. It just won't happen.
Oh,
It just won't happen. We're gonna get cartoons in live action.
well, it was really great while it's lasted.
Great.
I'm like really gonna hold on to this season forever and revisit it. I said that today. I was like, I want to rewatch those episodes instantly. Like it's given me the fuel that I once fell in love with Star Wars once again. And it is so yeah, and that's funny that they mentioned that you didn't bring up Nazi Germany, which was one of the first points you made when we started this season. So that's hysterical. Not only that, I think it points to current day. I think it points to any time a fascist regime has taken over. It's just really timely, but also timeless, because these are the issues that we face as humanity time and time again, that this team has managed to tell it in an extremely compelling story under the arc of what I think the Star Wars morals were built on.
Right. What I love is that this show's playing the end game. It's the long game, I should say. It's playing the long game, like the way that it's set up from the very beginning and knows where it's going, and through these breaks in the year. And the thing, so the way what I was talking about before with the canon stuff, right? You have this Mon Mothma episode, which plays into that speech that's happened in Rebels, because I was like, okay, well, wait a minute. We know that from Rebels, she goes, because they're like, oh, well, Cassian's going to get her out of there. I'm like, well, she can't go with Cassian, because that's going to negate what happens in Rebels. Like they take her, and she has the speech on the ship, and she does, like, what are they going to do? Is Filoni's actually going to retcon some Rebel stuff? And of course he didn't. There was the thing with Cassian. He gets her out of there. Great, absolutely great episode, and we'll dive into that as well. But then they say then I think they did it well with how they did it. She's got to go on the ship. She's got to do her thing. There's someone else that's taking her, and I think the woman who actually brought her in Rebels to the crew is mentioned as well. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, but where they said, hey, do I have to stick to that in the comic? The thing that happens in the comics? And Filoni's like, no, what's the comics? I don't care. That was the K2SO stuff. And I knew it was going to happen. Brett did a freaking video of it about 2 years ago, and we said it wasn't going to happen. And I will preface it by saying it shouldn't have happened, because from what the story they were telling, shouldn't. It just proves again that if you were looking into getting into the books and the comics and all that stuff, because Kathleen Kennedy made a promise and said, yeah, everything connected is going to be canon. So if something happens in the comics, something happens in the books, it's relevant to what happens in the TV shows and in the movies. And then they decided, well, as long as it doesn't interfere with anything, so you can go and buy it, but if that's why you're buying it, we don't care. And that's exactly what happened. K2SO and Andor do not meet like that in the comics. They did a whole spin-off comic book. It's not how they meet. It's not how it happens at all. It's completely different. It was completely retconned, and because, like I said, Filoni's out. It doesn't pay attention to those things, the books and the comics, but the shows, especially his show, he's never retconning. But like I said, I think that they handled the K2SO thing the way that they did it. Excellent. I loved the way they did it. I love the fact that there's like a Terminator coming after you and seeing how devastating he was and how they reprogram him. It's great. So what did you think about that moment in general?
I thought that moment was really awesome. I remember that when you and Brett talked about that, so I was like, what was it actually? And I totally forgot. So it ended up being really well done to me.
Yeah.
They were so scary when all of them came out and just like threw people across the way and like smashed them, broke them. That was Terminator scary. I've never been more afraid of droids before.
They were really they were scary, devastating. It showed how important it was to bring him onto the team. But to go back to the Mon Mothma stuff, they had this conversation, Tony Gilroy. He said, do I have to stick to this effing speech? Andor showrunner on minimizing Star Wars Rebels in season 2. Tony Gilroy has commented on making a big change to the Star Wars canon with the show's latest episode, even though that meant minimizing what we've seen in Rebels. In episode 9 of Andor season 2, Welcome to the Rebellion, Mon Mothma delivers a rousing speech to the Senate in that she challenges the Empire's account of what happened on Gorman and concludes by declaring, the monster who will come for us all soon enough is Emperor Palpatine. Cassian Andor helps her escape the ISB agents out to silence her, and Mon heads to Yavin 4 to join the rest of the rebellion. It's an incredible hour of television, but somewhat contradicts Star Wars canon. In the animated Star Wars Rebels, Mon makes a different speech and broadcasts it across the galaxy as she's transported to the Rebel stronghold by Gold Squadron. Talking to EW, Gilroy says that he and Dan Gilroy felt constrained by having to adhere to Rebels versions of events. We are hijacking canon, he admits. In canon, she's rescued by the Gold Squadron, and the speech that they gave in the cartoon, which is a canon show, is on that ship. And Danny's like, do I have to stick to this effing speech? Rather than disregarding the show's inspiring message from Mon, they figured that if Cassian left her at his old safe house, Luthen could arrange her transport with Gold Squadron, meaning she delivered a second speech after the first. Gilroy is aware that Andor has lessened the impact of the Star Wars Rebels scene in a really sneaky way. We're minimizing what they did in Rebels, but we're keeping it consistent. We're just saying you don't really know the whole story of what happened. Genevieve Rice says in the speech, she's been working for the rebellion deeply and intrinsically, and she's been vital to the rebellion. But that is the moment that she crosses that Rubicon, and she crosses it with Cassian. I felt beautiful that it is with him, given where we go in Rogue One. But it's that there's no turning back at that point. There is no going back. For those of you who missed it, there's the speech, yada, yada, yada. So, like, they didn't decanonize it, but they just, he's saying it's made sort of like made it a little less relevant because it's not the first time it happens, which I have no issue with. And most people, if you're watching that show and you didn't watch Rebels, aren't going to give a shit, right? But that episode stuff is so intense, and the way how that works, and the thing that Bail, it shows you, and how great is Benjamin Bratt as Bail.
So great. So great. I feel like he encompasses his aura perfectly. I thought he did a really, really great job of just fitting right into place. And just really why this episode was so incredible to me is because we know the fate of Mon Mothma and Cassian, but I was still like questioning what's gonna happen
Right.
up until the very end. And then, but yeah, I was really glad that they had that moment together. These are our two most important characters moving forward for what the Resistance actually started on. So for them to meet in this culmination and him getting her out of there, and how cool he's become, like he's so smooth with it, with the driver. He's like, what's the driver's name? He's like, oh cool. He's like,
that scene.
bop bop.
No.
That was so cool. I
love
was
how
like,
she
no
played it.
small
Yeah.
talk. Yeah.
But it's consistent to where we see him in that first scene in Rogue One. Like, that's who he is, right?
Yes,
Like he's
he
becoming that pro.
instantly knows what he had. Yeah, he's a very unique character. He's slowly become one of my favorites in Star Wars.
Yep.
And just as a character in general, because we've seen his growth, and he walks this super fine line since the beginning of Rogue One, where we see him instantly kill that guy, where you're like, are you bad? But no,
Right.
he's just has a very good sense of what he needs to do at that moment, in that second, for the greater cause.
Right. And it's also, and look, and say what you want about his relationship with Luthen, right? Luthen kind of put that in him too, and it's like, whatever, it's about the cause. And that conversation he had with Bix. And then that's the other thing that I want to, well, you and I will end our conversation on Andor with the Bix stuff. But Mike, someone's asking where Mike was, and Mike had to work today, but Mike really wanted to talk about this episode. And this was Mike's thoughts. He texted us, and he said, I thought it was some of the best Star Wars that we've ever gotten since the original trilogy. I am so curious to see what some of these diehard Star Wars fans say when you try to critique Star Wars, and they will respond with, well, it's always just been for kids. There is no world in which they can say this series is for kids. Yeah, this is not for kids. And I'm telling you, unfortunately, what I hope happens, though, Steph, I really hope that they look at the kind of response that this goes, because this is the kind of conversation, as I told you, that we were going to get. And this is the same type of conversation. This is the first time that Star Wars television has had the similar conversations that a Stranger Things has, or that a House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones has. Like, this is the first time really that you're like, did you see that episode? Oh my God, I can't believe they went there. Those 3 episodes. It was that kind of television. Star Wars has not had that, even with Mandalorian. They've had some good moments. Well, maybe the Luke moment. The Luke moment was a big, huge moment, obviously. So, but that was because Luke Skywalker. But that not just moments, though. An episode of just great, well-written, well-layered television. It has not happened. I hope that they look at this and say, there's two scenarios what's going to happen. Scenario one, which I think is unlikely, they look at it and they go, wow, people are really responding to this. Maybe we should kind of dive into this a little bit more and do the 45 to an hour long episodes and get a little bit more serious with Star Wars. Let's do that. Or my ego's too big. My shows are better. And I'm going to show you why. More fun, blast, less dialogue. Monster. Oh, look at me. Oh, everything relates back to the animated show. Oh, Darth Maul is a show again. That's where I think we're going to go. But where do you think? Do you think there's a chance that they're gonna switch this up?
I think there might be a chance that not that they're not going to do what you just described. I think they are, and I think there's a place for that. I think that there's a chance that they might have, one show a year or one movie a year that is to a more adult theme, has more adult themes within it. But there is a chance that they don't, and this is the last we see of kind of someone like Tony Gilroy being able to tell his own version of a Star Wars story.
Right.
That would be sad.
Totally. Oh, well, Mike's here in spirit because Steph just froze. So is she going to disappear like Thanos again? Let's see. Steph, get up and come back. We'll see if she freezes like Thanos or disappears like Thanos. Wow. This is a long freeze. He's just frozen. Okay, listen.
I keep going back to that. Oh, can you see me?
Oh, you froze for a good minute.
I know. I can't believe I'm here again.
Yeah, there you go. You're back.
Okay, I'm back. Okay.
Kind of?
All I'll say.
Oop.
Am I back?
You back, baby. You back.
Woo! Okay. I just I wouldn't have thought that this would be better. Not better. I like this more than The Last of Us, and I'm obsessed with The Last of Us.
Okay.
I think The Last of Us is so incredible. It should be nominated, and that's kind of what I expect from a Max series and what I expect from The Last of Us. And it's just exciting that there's a Star Wars show that I think that I'm having even more fun with.
Totally agree. It's I would like to see what happens overall. There, look at Brett. Yeah, there you go. Look at that.
Oh, hi, Brett.
Stinks. So we are excited to continue talking about this, ending it with this. Bix went bye-bye. I like that they didn't kill her off. I still, as I said, why didn't he go search for her? Someone was like, because it's the big galaxy and they don't know where the hell she went. I was like, that's a good point. So she's gone. The thing is, though, what we do. Well, I'll be careful with what I say, but I'm glad that she took off, and it makes me realize you don't have to kill everybody.
I know.
You sad?
But now, okay. I'm like half and half because I'm glad she didn't have to die, which is what I thought had to have happened just based off Rogue One and where Andor is as a character. But I am glad that she didn't die, and I thought that was very creative and a way that gave her more agency in her position within, like she decided this was her role to play for the galaxy, and it's better hopefully to get what they want. And her parting words with him were beautiful. I'm just like, I'm just curious how it's going to lead into Rogue One.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about it next week because let's have the conversation next week about it. But she just did some great stuff, and I understand why she did what she did. She realized how important he was. And what do you think? We didn't really get into the first episode about the Force healer and how that played into it.
Yeah, I love that. I thought that was really interesting, especially because we've seen it in Clone Wars. I think people were first being really put onto it in Rise of Skywalker. I think that's when Rey uses it, and people are like, "Oh, they can force heal." So I really love the use of different, because there's still going to be people who exist within the galaxy forever with a connection to the Force, whether or not it's the Age of Jedi or not. So I thought that was really smart just to kind of set that tone. And but then I was a little confused, but I think we've always asked our question the question, like, what is Cassian's role? Is it is there more to do with it than what we think, or is he just the small guy who can make a huge impact in the galaxy?
Yeah, well, we know from Rogue One the impact that he does have. So look, we talked a lot about Andor season 2. I'm so excited to hear your thoughts. I've already been seeing a lot of them in the live chat. I hope to see it on the replay, and I hope that you're checking out the Clips channel. We are getting close to getting to 10,000 subscribers. I just put all of the clips from yesterday's interview with Lewis Pullman from Thunderbolts, and aka Bob, aka Sentry. There's a lot of good stuff on there. If you hopefully go check that out. But put your thoughts in there, comment, tell me what you think about Andor. And before we get to our next topic, which we're going to do, we want to. Oh, by the way, Steph, before we even move on, did you hear that Mike's comments to the fans that didn't like Andor? That's what
Exactly.
he does. All right. Before we move on, we're going to tell you guys about 2 of our wonderful sponsors. I'm going to tell you once again about Trade Coffee. I'm so excited they're back. And Factor. Here it is. It's kickoff time. That's the wrong one. But now I'll tell you the new one. Eventually. I don't know why that's in there. You guys did it. You did it. Trade Coffee is back. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy. I love Trade Coffee. They are my lifeline at this point. I love them so much because coffee it's an essential for me. And I know it's not just a drink. It's a ritual. It's a lifeline. It's the bridge between half asleep and ready to conquer the day. And if it's that essential, why would you settle for anything less than extraordinary? That's where Trade comes in. It is the #1 U.S. coffee destination. It brings you fresh coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. You take the quiz, and in under a minute, they're going to match you with your perfect coffee. If that first bag isn't quite right, Trade's going to replace it for free until they nail it. If you're headed out on summer vacation, with Trade subscription flexibility, you can pause it, or you can shift delivery while you're away and resume when you're home, ensuring you'll come home to great coffee. And that's exactly what I've been doing. I have gotten to a place where I got this massive, huge, big bag. And I'll be honest, I thought, I'm not going to be able to go through all this. Blasted through this bag because it's so delicious. And I'm showing it off to everybody. When people come over and they're visiting guests, you got to try this coffee. And that's exactly what I do. I got everybody talking about Trade. And that's why they came back. And right now, Trade is exclusively offering our listeners 50% off your 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/Christian. That's drinktrade, TRADE.com/Christian for 50% off your 1-month trial. drinktrade.com/Christian. You know why they're back, guys? Because of you guys. That's why they're back. You guys have seen how good they are. Get yourself some Trade. You will not regret it. I told you guys I've been really focusing in on health. I've been trying to make sure that I'm eating the right stuff. And Factor has made that very simple for me. You got to make it your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor, because eating well has never been this easy. You just heat up, you enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. Get outside instead of prepping and cooking indoors. Factor meals arrive fresh and they're ready to eat. They're perfect for any active lifestyle. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfast, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. It is easy to savor more this spring. Factor meals pack in the flavor with none of the fuss. I have been loving what Factor has been providing to me. Like I told you, I have my live show. I go to the gym, I come back, I have something great. They have protein meals. They have a lot of different things. It just goes right to the style that you're looking for, because if you want to get healthy stuff on the go, feeling good, you get Factor. And you can get started at factormeals.com/Christian50 off and use that code Christian50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code Christian50 off at factormeals.com/Christian50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. All right. Very excited. Very excited to have both Trade Coffee back and Factor. Steph, did I tell you that Trade came back?
No, I thought that you were in talks, but I hadn't heard the confirmation.
No, the audience went.
Amazing.
The audience heard the call, and they still even do it now. I got people on Instagram saying, "Oh, we're keeping Trade. We're going to show them what this audience is all about." I said, "Thank you. That means the world between that and Factor."
Your house will smell so good.
in the office too. I have this huge bag of coffee. I wanted to show it off and have it anyway. Yeah, I mentioned I had Lewis Pullman on. I forget. You said you saw Thunderbolts, yeah?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Not seen it. Okay.
No, we're seeing it this weekend. We're a week behind everything.
Okay. Well, you'll love Lewis Pullman, and he was great. He was very easy to talk to. The interview's up there now. One of the things I hope people cover this, because I keep seeing people going, well, you auditioned for Spider-Man. That's what I had heard too. You auditioned for Spider-Man. I asked him, I said, so when you auditioned for Spider-Man, he goes, I never auditioned for Spider-Man. I said, oh, he said, I auditioned for Craven instead. And I said, Spider-Man adjacent. And people were like, oh, well, he had auditioned for Spider-Man. I was like, nope. So I hope people pick that up, because that's somewhat happened. Anyways, great guy. Really like talking to him. That interview is on the channel. I hope that everybody either checked it out or does check it out. It was yesterday's episode, and it's doing fairly well. You can have all those, by the way, if you want. I have like 8. Is that enough? You can probably work out.
Let's guess.
You bring it over here. You want to show them? I have so much Magic Mind. I continue to get Magic Mind, and I'm giving Brett a bag of Magic Mind. Look at that.
Oh my gosh!
Look at Brett. How good is the camera looking right now, Steph?
Really good. Okay,
right?
Brett.
Good, Brett.
I'm mewing.
Yeah.
Crushing it.
I love the beard.
Yeah, right. Okay.
A bag of Magic Mind, that's gold.
Yeah, I just gave him a big badge, that's how I'm paying him.
That's great.
Yeah. All right, let's get to this. Let's talk about Iger's new strategy. Thunderbolts is Marvel's new strategy. Indeed it is. Hold on. Holy shit, that's terrible. All right, let's see. Nope, that's not it. There you go. Okay. Good Lord. Disney CEO Bob Iger says that Marvel Studios Thunderbolts is I gotta stop that. It is the prime example of Disney's new quality over quantity approach when it comes to Marvel fare. Speaking with the Wall Street analysts about the studio's quarterly results, Iger says that the solid results for the first 3 months of this year by the studio are a result of the Mouse House's new approach with the fewer works and more separation between film and TV. This time last year, he said Marvel's plan to reduce output and focus more on quality, with the plans to reduce their output to around 2 TV series a year instead of 4, and reduce their film output from 2 or 3. The aim is essentially for fewer projects, fewer flops. Well, no shit. Turning each of the launches into more of an event. He said, in our zeal to flood out streaming platform with more content, we turned to all of our creative engines, including Marvel, and had them produce a lot more. We've also learned over time that quantity does not necessarily beget quality. Frankly, we've all admitted to ourselves that we lost a little focus by making too much. By consolidating a bit and having Marvel focus much more on their films, we believe it will result in better quality, and I think the first and best example of that is Thunderbolts. In terms of the overall Disney slate, he says he has a lot of confidence in it, saying it's as strong as any slate that I've seen in a long time. Well, in 2019, I think was our best year, the strongest I've seen since then. That slate includes Lilo and Stitch, Elio, The Fantastic Four First Steps, Tron Ares, Zootopia 2, Avatar, Fire and Ash this year, and then Avengers Doomsday, The Mandalorian, and Grogu, and the live-action Moana next year. Steph, you hear these comments by Bob Iger. What do you make of them?
Yeah, I mean, I think that focusing on quality rather than quantity is the way a lot of studios are going. It was just the natural ebb and flow, I think, of inventing streaming, having streaming just progressively grow into the biggest thing ever, and then having the pandemic and the strike, and people are they just overloaded on streaming, and now it did hurt their movie model. So I think that it's exciting that Thunderbolts is being so well received. I wish they could have had that same energy with Captain America. It would have been nice to start the year like that, but that's okay. I'm just excited that they're back on track. I think it's cool for everyone who works at Marvel, and like all the people involved, the studios, and trying so hard to make these stories work. I'm glad they're working now. It
is, and it is good to see it. And I think that if you look at, I think the Captain America side of it was in the transition between what they're doing now. I also don't understand. You know what I realize though too, and you have to look at it this way. This is not an insult, because you and I are considered YouTubers and people on the internet and things that I just think a lot of people that do this don't really understand how the business works. And like I saw some videos and things that you're like, oh man, Thunderbolts, it made a little less than Captain America. That's a big box office disappointment. Oh man, it's failed. What are they gonna do now? Captain America can say that about, because regardless of what they say, that budget was ballooned to 350, 400 with the 2 weeks. I don't give a shit what anybody says. It was a balloon budget, and it also it cost a lot of money overall. And first week was big, and it was not. And first week was the week that people came in not big. It was a good weekend that they wanted. It was the second weekend that dropped off completely, and there was no word of mouth about it. It was like it was either it's fine or it was terrible, right? That's not the case with this. They already changed the name for the marketing of this movie, and they're already looking at a smaller drop from what they said on the second week. It made the 75 that it was projected to originally. That's what it was projected to do. So it was on par. That's how because people said, "Oh, it didn't do better," or 85, it's a failure. You don't understand how the business works. Now, I'm not telling you that if week 2, if there's a huge drop, and I've said this many times over, if week 2 turns out to be a 75% drop and it eats shit in week 2, well, then you can start saying that. You can start saying that. But you don't understand the business if you say, "Oh man, it beat Captain America, it beat it. It's a failure." You don't understand how the business works. Second week is key. It could very well be a failure. If it doesn't pick up, if it has like a 75% drop, could be a failure. But right now, it looks like it's tracking to do pretty well.
Yeah. I feel like the word of mouth with it has been really good, and to me, that really matters almost more than anything these days with getting to the theater. People just want to know, like, oh, is it a movie I should go see so that we can talk about, and that I need to talk about it now? Okay, then I'll go. And then sometimes takes some weeks to trickle in. Especially when Marvel is kind of revamping its loyalty. So I'm excited to see what it does this week, and I hope it does really good.
I do too. You're going to see it, so we're excited to see what.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you think about it. So I got to ask you guys, what are your thoughts on Iger's comments? Because for me, I didn't really kind of address it, to be honest with you. Iger's comments, it's like, yes, of course. You know what? Not this time. Not this time. That stupid thing. Not that time. I turned it off, Steph, before I could.
It was a very old school ring.
Yeah, no, it was an ad.
Oh.
So I like what he did. I like what he's talking about. I like how he's saying it. It's like it makes sense. I wish Roka was on the show, because I'll bring it up to him on Monday, because I saw his tweet and I don't agree with it. He's like, "Oh, of course he's saying that now. Of course he's saying that now. It's that the fact that it's doing well, everyone loves it. Of course he's championing it now." And I understand what he was saying, but I still think that there was a reason why we were talking about this movie could be a high quality movie in the way that they were approaching it. And and it seems like I don't know if it's a lot of studios, but it seems like Disney right now, it has gotten the note, cut your budgets. Now Avengers is going to be astronomical. We know that. But the rest of the movies, they're scaling down on budgets, and I think it makes a lot of sense. But I like these comments. But I'll ask the audience what they thought of the comments. Digging it, not digging it. What say you? Put your thoughts in there. I gotta know if you like what he said, if you don't like what he said. Again, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on the Clips channel, we're on the live stream, all of that. Okay, this is gonna be an interesting one. I'm interested, Steph, to get your thoughts on this, because that Harry Potter. Now, this is if we had Mike on the show, it'd be interesting to see what he thinks. But so J.K. Rowling has addressed the calls to fire Papa Sidhu from the Harry Potter Max TV series. She addressed these, and this is the news story here. J.K. Rowling has addressed calls to fire Papa Sidhu from the series, and fans have launched a campaign to remove Papa Sidhu from the upcoming Max Harry Potter series due to his past public support for trans rights, and they want J.K. Rowling to join the movement. Mark Julian writes, fans of the iconic Harry Potter franchise are on the brink of a new chapter as Warner Brothers Discovery officially greenlights a live-action TV series based on J.K. Rowling's 7 beloved novels. Set to debut on Max, the ambitious project is planned to span several years, with each season devoted to faithfully adapting one book from the original saga. Unlike the film adaptations, the series will take full advantage of television's extended format, offering a deeper, more immersive dive into the intricate plots and magical world that Rowling created. A release date has not been confirmed. Casey Blois, chairman and CEO of HBO and Max Content, has emphasized the studio's commitment to authenticity and storytelling true to the source material. This new Max original series will dive deep into each of the iconic books that fans have cherished for years. Blois said during the announcement, with a devoted creative team, we'll finally be able to explore the depth and detail of these beloved stories through the long-form storytelling that television makes possible. While excitement for the TV show is starting to build, one fan worry is centered around the involvement of the creator of the franchise. Despite growing anticipation for the Harry Potter TV series, some fans worry about J.K. Rowling's executive producer role due to her controversial stance on transgender rights. However, she's taking a somewhat surprisingly tolerant approach in her response to fan cries for Papa Asidu, the actor who portrays Snape in the upcoming Max series, to be fired over his previous support of transgender rights. On social media, Rowling stated, "I don't have the power to sack an actor from the series, and I wouldn't exercise it if I did. I don't believe in taking away people's jobs or livelihoods because they hold legally protected beliefs that differ from mine." Some fans are reportedly more upset by Papa Asidu, who's a black actor portraying a traditionally Caucasian character from the books. They are allegedly attempting to leverage J.K. Rowling's views on trans rights to have the author call for his removal, but Rowling seems to be disregarding this. In addition to Snape, the Max series will star, yada, yada, yada. We all know that. All right, Steph. So I know that when we have these conversations and, Mike usually will lay into J.K. Rowling. To me, she says the right thing. She said the right thing in this tweet. She said
No,
the right
it's
thing.
actually hysterical that the fans are worse than JK, who has become a true villain. Like, that is crazy that she's like, I'm not a racist. I just am a turf. I don't think that
See,
you should be fired. That's crazy.
I think she said the same thing though too here, what she said, right? Where I think that everybody should look at this as well. And this to me is an internet thing more than just specific to this topic. She said, "I don't believe in taking away people's jobs and having people fired because of having opposing views." I echo those stances. I echo that. I think that it is in everybody's right that if you do not like her stance and the way that she talks about the subject and the things that she has said, you have every right to say, well, I do not and I will not support the stuff that she's in, no matter who's in it. I'm not going to watch the show. You have every right to do that. You do not have a right to say she should leave the show. She should be fired. She should do this. It's an opposing point of view from yours. It's opposing point of view from a lot of the stuff she said, a lot of opposing view from mine, opposing view from Steph's, opposing view from Mike's. I do not believe she should be removed. I don't think she should be fired. And I'll be honest, I think that her stance and things that she said are a lot of different things that she has said has been irresponsible. I think that to a lot of people, obviously hurtful. I disagree with you. I don't think she's a villain. I don't think she's a villain. I think she holds her thoughts and what she is. I think she has very different way conservative points of views. And I think that there's a difference. I think people throw around, and I'm not speaking specifically to you, but I think a lot of times people throw around evil. People throw around those of like evil is like Jeffrey Epstein. That's evil, right? Jeffrey Dahmer, evil. Why does it mean Jeffrey's evil? Evil,
Right.
But like, I think you could go into a whole different conversation with this. But I think she's 100% right when she says, the guy doesn't have the same point of view as I do. Why am I going to fire him? I think that a lot of people are up in arms that he is that he's black. I think that's what it is. I've said this many times over. If he's a good actor for this role, who cares? Who cares? So I don't know. Thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I think that the reason why I've become calling JK a villain is because she has such power and she has so much range and she has completely she's done this fear-mongering campaign.
Yeah.
And me as a woman, I have never in my life been afraid of a trans woman or have
Right.
lost something because of a trans woman. So for her to instill this fear over a percent of the population that is so minimal and just wants to exist, and so much so that the UK has now started interjecting more laws taking away trans rights. So she is inflicting harm onto others, and
Okay.
it's not physical, but word of mouth, like we've been talking about, really matters. So to me, that makes her a villain, because you're harming people who are completely innocent and just want to exist. But I agree in the sense, I don't think she should be forced to be off Harry Potter. She created it. I do. Is there an irony in the fact that she created a story that has made people feel seen and protected, and that good wins over evil, and now they feel like the person who created that doesn't stand for anything that
Right.
she wrote?
Totally. And
So
even
I get them being like, can you not? But yeah, you can't force. That's her work.
Yeah, and I said, and by the way, someone said she's not a killer, but she's still, her words have harm and hurt. That's exactly how I opened my thing. That's exactly what, Melissa. That's exactly what I said to open.
Yeah.
I said she has caused pain. She has been insensitive. She has said things 1,000%. But I just feel like, that's what sometimes, and again, not to use Melissa, like, but there are times that people don't hear the other side of it. It's like there's always there's this really deep conversation that I had one time with Ryan Satin, right? Let me ask you a question, Steph, and this is the same question that I asked Ryan. So if there was somebody in general that from all of their life and the people that they were around was a good person, really good things, always helping people, and then that person committed a heinous crime, murder of, let's say, just a horrendous crime. You'd have to know the situation more, I think, to get a full breakdown of this. But is it possible that because that person did one of the most evil acts ever, is that person's soul, is that person in general, is that person an evil person, or is that a very evil act that person did in that moment, and will always be an evil act, and will be always remembered for that, and will be tainted for that forever? But is it possible for someone who wasn't evil to just do an evil act, and then that is the person's, how you always remember them?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Right.
I think it's absolutely, there's a difference between an evil act and an evil person. I think the latter being way more rare than an evil act, because everybody has the ability, if push comes to shove, if you're oppressed enough, if you're abused enough, or whatever got you there, you could do, like if you mess with my family, I could probably go places that I didn't know existed. So
Right.
yeah, I do think it's possible for sure.
Yeah, it just depends on what it was. I mean, but there's difference also what we're saying, right? It's like an act of revenge, an act of temporary insanity, and things of that nature. It's a longer conversation in general. It's a deeper conversation that we usually get on in these shows, but nonetheless, I'm so curious to hear what people are going to say about this one. Put your thoughts in there. Let us know. Comment everything else you got to say about it. What say you? All right, Steph. Now it's time. It's the moment of truth. So actually, from what I found out from Luke, 78 is the number that we're looking for here. 78.
Okay.
And currently, at the moment, I'm going to give you your number. You are looking at 24. Okay. It's a good start to get into, and 58 minutes is what we've done thus far. Now we are going to get to the beginning of the stream. And we start with Gopal, who says, looking forward to hearing your Andor thoughts once I get out from this work week from hell. Here's some support in the meantime. We're excited to see you back, Gopal, when you do come back.
Yes.
And I'm also excited to hear your thoughts on Andor once that does.
And it's Thursday, so the week's almost over.
That's true. You got to watch it. Did you watch the most recent episode of The Studio?
No, I'm behind this week.
Me too. I hear.
Yeah.
I saw a little clip that was pretty good, and it's got Yeah, it looks pretty funny.
Okay, cool.
RQMPSMD support for Steph and the National Brain Tumor Society. 100%. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, please. Jacob Fleck, has Sam seen Indiana Jones? I'd love to see her reactions on those movies, especially the original 3. She's seen them, but it's like these movies where because I asked her about Indiana Jones, she doesn't remember them. So if we did watch them, I obviously would not put first time watching up top because it wouldn't be. She saw them when she was kids. But I had the conversation with her about Star Wars, and she goes, I said, what do you know about Star Wars? She goes, I know Luke, Darth Vader's Luke's father from everything that she's seen in, pop culture, obviously. She's been around to see. She's like, and
yeah.
She's like, and I remember when I was a kid that my parents took me to see Return of the Jedi, which is the only Star Wars movie she ever saw, and she remembers the little bears. That's all she remembers.
Oh my gosh.
No, nothing.
That's so exciting.
It is. So we're gonna watch. She does not want to see any Star Wars.
Damn.
She does not want to watch Star Wars, but that Star Wars and Harry Potter she's never seen, because Harry Potter, only her kids were into Harry Potter, so she never watched it.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, that one we're gonna watch soon. Gold Searcher, the Clone Wars is actually best Star Wars, not in Empire Strikes Back or Andor. Well, Gold Searcher, I appreciate your opinion. I disagree with you more than I disagreed with anyone in the last week. Because that to me, I like the Clone Wars a lot. It's good.
I love the Clone Wars.
Not better than Empire Strikes Back or Andor, in my opinion. But
in my opinion as well.
Yeah, Mike Joyce. Was I the only one expecting some of the protesters to see if immolate in front of the monument? I don't know what that means, Mike. I figured that would start everything off. Was I the only one to expect some of the protesters to see if immolate in front of the monument? I think we missed. I think something happened to your hand in the middle of that typing, Mike. Okay, Mike, let me know what that word was, because can you make what that is, Steph? Brett, you trying to figure the puzzle out? You got it.
Read it slower.
All right, read it slower. Was I the only one expecting some? I'll read it like Gary Busey. Was I the only one expecting some of the protesters to see if him immolate in front of the monument? I figured that would start everything off. No idea. I'm sorry, Mike. Third Man
Mike,
3.
help.
Yeah, it's a shame that they're only doing 2 seasons. Is what he means. This could have been Lucas's Game of Thrones. Easily could have done 5 seasons with each season 1 year. Agreed. I hope that they do. Steph, don't you think that they could do this kind of series with the Old Republic?
Yes, I would live for that. And definitely there was a part of me that saw Yavin and how it's progressed in the past year, and I would have been very cool to see the building of that.
Yeah.
And kind of like them getting there, landing there, deciding their plan, how they're gonna like make their rankings, who are the rest of these people involved. But I respect what they're doing, and it still was fine. I hear you, but I think it is a little bit, if they were going to make this their Game of Thrones, us knowing the outcome, like the reason, not the reason, but a huge pull of the Game of Thrones was who's going to end up on the throne. We know how this ends, so it's like you take that away.
That's why I want to see them do like a different. What I'm hoping happens is that James Mangold starts such a great chain reaction from his movie in that time period that they start exploring that era and start doing more like, serious shows for adults. That's what I hope.
Yeah.
Mike Joyce, do you think we could see Bix in Mandalorian or Ahsoka? No world. And I wouldn't want her. She would water down.
No, yeah, I thought there was a part of me that was like, is there any chance in which she could be pregnant and then we get an Andor Bix baby later in? But I don't think so. But I don't think in Mandalorian or Ahsoka.
Crystal 2.0, I shed actual tears for Cyril. Great storytelling. Yeah, they made you care about him. He was a sad sack.
For sure. Super sad.
Yeah. 24 right now, Steph. 24. Can you take out Roxy this week?
Okay, keep going.
Yep. Dennis Hoffman. Andor is the best spy drama, sincerely, since The Americans. That moment with Dedra and Cyril made me so sad for him. Brilliant, patient storytelling. That's what I hope people will understand. Let me ask people that question. If you have been in this comment section over the course of the last couple of weeks talking about how you maybe like that's why I'm curious. Like, I wish Mike was here because I could ask him the same question. If you didn't like the last three or thought the last three were slow, do you understand of how their relevance and how important those first 6 episodes were to lead to this? You do not, if you just started with these 3 episodes, like for people, I hope nobody writes, and I haven't seen this comment yet, but like, well, this is the stuff they should have opened with. You wouldn't have had the same impact. You would not have the same impact. So I'm curious. Go ahead, Steph.
No, not at all. We needed to build out an entire new people, the Gorman people. Like, we didn't know anything about them, who they were, how they function. So that's a whole area to take on. There's probably if that's the criticism, I can kind of agree with the fact that I would have liked to see more Andor in the beginning, the same amount that we're getting now, but it didn't end up mattering. It just gave it more impact that he had been doing all of these missions, and then you get him now.
Right. Sean McCabe, what's up, Sean? Andor has been amazing television. Can't wait for the finale. Kristian, thank you for the 3 months of awesomeness. Thank you, Sean. Support for Steph. You're amazing. Finally, congratulations to Pope Leo. Yeah, first American Pope, Steph.
Yeah, I know. That's interesting. He wasn't even on some of the front. It's so fascinating that Conclave just came out, and I feel like I have a way better understanding of how this works, or else I would have had literally no idea.
You're not wrong. It's funny because I saw it today. I was actually at the gym, they were playing it, and I looked up and I was like, oh, I know the whole process and how they actually did it. The whole vote. I mean, it didn't take as long as it did in Conclave.
Right.
But yeah, it was.
But he wasn't even a front runner, so I was like, "Oh man, to be a fly in the room."
I know.
How did he get up there?
Candles were brought.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. Daniel Breen. I loved episodes 7 through 9, but I do wish the release schedule was weekly. I think it has a better impact for me because you have time to digest it all. Had I not seen the season, I would have agreed with you. But the way that these episodes are structured, I don't think weekly would have worked for this show. I just don't. As Steph said, these 3 episodes play like one big movie, and you can't make the episodes 3 hours long, unless you're doing Stranger Things type stuff. But I don't agree with you on that one, Daniel. Normally I am on the same page, but not for this one. Steph, do you think? I mean, maybe you might be on the opposite page. Would you like to see these weekly?
No, I think the way this works is perfect because they aren't built to end with a week in between. Like some of them, sure, it's like you got so much, so you could have marinated on a week, but some of them, it's like clearly that's the setup.
Right. Well, Nate, you should have Star Wars Theory on to debate Andor. He's the top Star Wars guy on YouTube, and he hates it because he stopped covering it. Thanks for all your content. Well, I mean, look, but if somebody doesn't like it, doesn't want to cover it. Look, I didn't hate Skeleton Crew, but I didn't cover it because I was like, this show just isn't for me, and I bailed on it, right? And I said the same thing. What I won't do is say to someone, if somebody said, that's funny, Roxy, who has not been into the show, just literally just texted me and said 7 was incredible, 8 was pretty good too. And I said, yeah, I that's what I mean. It's like that lead up. So I'm looking forward to have that conversation with her.
Yeah.
So. But going back, like what I won't do is say, look, well, you don't like it, you don't understand Star Wars. Then it's like it's the same thing that that one person I saw that video, the guy drove me nuts, and he said like, "What are you guys complaining about having good Star Wars?" And you said you won't watch Skeleton Crew. Then you guys aren't real Star Wars fans. It's like stick it up your ass. It's like you're not allowed. You can't say that. In the same way, you don't like Andor. You don't like Andor, and you don't, and it's not for you. You want more of the the lightsabers and the pew pew. Then that's what you like. That's what you like, and that's fine. For me, I just think the show is brilliant. I think it's the best show so far, but people can like what they like and don't like what they don't like.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So, okay. Next one after that. Thank you to everybody here. Mirror Domains. I get choked up about episode 8. How do you top that now? I told you, like, look, these 3 episodes are my favorite. I've changed my stance, and I think that if I'm going to rank them, I go these 3 are my number. The arcs, there's 4 arcs. This is my first favorite arc. These 3 we just saw. Next week's are my second favorite arc.
Okay, that's good.
Then last week's were my third, and then the first 3 my last. So,
Yeah, the whichever one had the screaming early rebellion forces that were confused, going back and forth, screaming at each other.
yeah.
That was my least favorite.
Yes. Yes. That was number 2. I
Okay,
think.
was that the first? Okay.
So,
So
yeah.
that I mean, it wasn't bad to me, it just wasn't my favorite.
Jacob Fleck. Hope the Darth Maul show gets pretty dark. I think it could. I think it's got a shot to. Like Sam Witwer is a producer on the show too, and you can be hard to find someone that understands Star Wars the way that he does. He really, really does. Josh Vaskovich. The amount of times I said, "Oh, holy shit!" during episodes 8 and 9. Yeah, same. I would say I'm so upset though that you didn't have a camera on you stuff.
I know. I was like
Yeah. Let's see. Mirjam. Steph, I totally agree with you. Both Andor and Last of Us are awesome and magnificent shows.
so good. I'm obsessed. But I'm so sad that we're like, it feels like we're revving up the relationships in Last of Us, and we're kind of losing our main all of the romantic relationships, I think, ended by now, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's Cyril and Dedra, there's
Yeah.
Bix and Andor,
Yeah.
and Mon Mothma, I guess, if you consider with her husband.
Well, then the ladies and the other guy and the other one got whacked last week. Remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the end of romance.
Good. Kate Hebert. How was Andor and K2 intro different in the comic? He goes on like some mission with like these twins, these alien twins, and they find them in some lab or something. I can't remember what it was, but it's nothing like this. It has nothing to do with the Gorman massacre at all. I think it actually makes more sense this way, to be honest. I think it plays better this way. So yeah. Rafts, UK Rafton. Andor shows me there still is magic in Star Wars. This is what I try to tell people all the time. There is more magic in any franchise that you think is dead and that you don't think is working anymore. There's always more magic in it. I always use Terminator as the example. There's always more magic in it depending on who is doing it. Look at Karate Kid. Look at Cobra Kai, right? Everyone said, what are they doing? They're making a Karate Kid series? What are they doing? They're going to ruin it even more. And then because the guys knew it was their Star Wars, they brought love to it and they made it work. Tony Gilroy had a very different approach to Star Wars. And I think Star Wars needs different now. I cannot stand, and Mike said that in his text, the same, well, that's not what Star Wars is. Star Wars doesn't do that. Maybe it's time to kind of pivot a little bit. It's okay to pivot. Pivot a little bit. Pivot a little bit.
Pivot.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with that statement. I think I felt the same way, Rafs. I was like, oh my gosh, like Star Wars is back. It's each week has been even more exciting, where I just am so excited to watch the episode as soon as it drops.
Right, same. Okay, let's see. Michael Baldwin. What if Star Wars movies are classic and Disney Plus is adult? That makes sense. That makes total sense, because you can't do a show like this, or a movie like this, on a $200 million budget. The people who have spoken loud about how boring it is and this and that, they're going to make up for ticket sales, and that could hurt you. You have to make a movie like this, $70 to $100 million. Right? Like, that's how you're going to have to do this type of Star Wars movie in order to do it. Because Star Wars, the IP will get you in the door, but you got to do it smaller. But TV shows, I think they all should be adult. But guess what? Not going to happen. Not with Dave doing the show. Ain't going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine if Dave Filoni actually looked at it and said, man, people are really responding to Andor way more than any one of the shows that I produced, way more than any show that I did. People are actually looking at this as like real television. The writing is really solid. People really like this. Maybe I should make Ahsoka too. Maybe I should bring in some writers to help me instead of writing all the scripts myself. Maybe I should bring in some writers to help that can craft, screenplays. I've been doing this for a while, and maybe I'll do. And what if I made Ahsoka season 2 like this? But that won't happen.
I am curious where he's at creatively, because as a creator, I think you definitely have to make a decision of, depending where you're working and stuff, but who am I making this for? And I'm curious what his answer is. Like, is it for the kid? Like, is it just like, oh, the kids, the newer generations getting introduced? Or, is there a part of him like Gilroy who is like clearly trying to make lasting content that is for critics alike to fans?
Agreed. Haskell. Hey, Christian. Hey, Steph. How about those Knicks? Oh, man. BTB wins 20 in the third. I put a $1 wager on DK at 7-1 odds when they were down 18. Here's 5 of it. Thank you so much, Haskell, for that. And yeah, it was so funny because I had put a bet on the first game, won, and then I told my buddy, I was like, I was going to put a significant amount on game 2, and I was like, am I just getting greedy here? There's no way they're going to be able to take Boston out in game 2 in Boston after beating them in Boston in game 1, and then they did by 1. I was like, holy crap. I'm glad that I didn't, but at the same time, I was like, oh, are you paying attention to any of this stuff?
A little bit, yeah. I watched the most of the highlights, so I'll do like the 20-minute highlights of the main games.
Got it.
But the part that got me more than the game is the Knicks fans. What? You guys are crazy. You are oh my God, Knicks fans are insane. I saw this poor woman in the arena, security guard, trying for her life to get this group of about 100 lasting Knicks fans that would not leave. And she's like, please get out. And they're like, no.
Do you understand how big this is? This is huge. This is the defending champions that we have a 2-0 lead on, going back to the Garden.
Yeah.
Like everyone count. I saw some ridiculous woman on Instagram who was a Celtics like influencer, and she's like, "Get your brooms out, because it's gonna be a sweep." Where's your follow-up video? And I really do hope that if the Knicks do sweep, there's no world that it'll happen, but if they do, I really do hope that someone splices together, "It's gonna be a sweep," and they go, "You were right." Sweeping Boston is probably going to be next to impossible.
Yeah.
But I think they could win if they go up 3 on Saturday. Holy moly, beating they were heavy underdogs. Johnny Venerable. While Mando season 1, 2 remains my favorite, I understand the importance of supporting Andor. I want to see this quality done for Jedi, Sith, Underworld stories. That is what we're talking about, Steph. Like the next show, if they do a show like this in this quality, should be in the fantastical, should be the infused with more of the pew pew and lightsabers and everything to it. And by the way, I love that stuff too. But if it's the only thing you want to see, I think you should want it. Like Johnny says, you should want to see stuff like this, and you shouldn't just dive into the politics of what they did with Andor. That was that story. You should do a more serious story with the Jedi and the Sith, right?
Yeah, completely. I'm obsessed with Jedi, Sith, and then Underworld stories.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm definitely not in the camp of like only focus on the politics. It just is, there has to be something that does. And so making that the architect of the empire that we see beginning in A New Hope is brilliant, and that's why this is why it's working for this show. But in the next series, I would love to see this level of depth in the writing and the characters be with the fantastical and with the way more of the Force, and with like bringing back that like old Yoda talk.
Imagine they actually would have wrote scripts for the Obi-Wan series.
Yeah.
Like instead of, hey, we love that Benny Hill video. Let's do a Benny Hill series. The worst. But like, imagine if they would have done like this type of quality for Obi-Wan. Like that's the type of stuff like that you can really dive deep and make. Like that show called for that. That's the show that called for that. I understand if Ahsoka doesn't necessarily call for that. I get it, but that show from the depression and everything that Obi-Wan's going through, and all that show called for this kind of treatment. Not Flea chasing a kid in the woods with a bunch of aliens going like this. It was absolutely ridiculous. Mike Joyce, Steph, I know you're going to show up for the opening night of Clown in a Cornfield tonight, right? Do you hate clowns?
No, well, I mean, yeah, I don't love clowns, but
Okay.
this sounds like one of those really, really scary movies. Is this just like you're stuck in a cornfield and a clown is killing people?
Probably sounds.
Is that?
I mean,
Oh my gosh,
I
Mike!
I feel like you nailed it. Noah C, thank you. Just putting in support there, Noah. Appreciate it. Okay, 32 right now, Steph, with about 40 minutes left to go. Can you catch Roxy? We shall see. Noah C, did you all see the Star Wars Tales of the Underworld? If so, your thoughts, especially given Asajj history. Nah, I'm similar to Skeleton Crew. I don't have an interest anymore. How about yourself? Did you watch it?
I haven't watched it yet. We almost put it on after, but I just it got too late, so I'm gonna watch it. I'll definitely watch it because I like Tales of the Jedi,
Yeah.
and
I didn't even watch Tales
So
of the
this.
Empire.
Oh,
Never
okay, I saw it was good too. Yeah, so I'll probably check this out this week.
I'm just tired of it's just the same. It's the same characters time period over and over and over again. I'm like, I get it. I'm glad people are enjoying it though if they did, but no, I have no interest in seeing it. Okay. Next one after that is Mirjam. Loved Mon Mothma's speech. Genevieve O'Reilly is crushing this. She's
so good.
Yes.
She's so good.
This is Armada. I was a bit iffy on Andor 4 through 6 based on its pace, but 7-9 made it impactful for sure. That's my point. Hopefully Matt can get The Rock on the show for Smashing Machine. That would be awesome. And I would probably have to go through, try to see if we can get him through Boss, but that would be great if we can get him. But I got to get Matt. Matt is the most humble human being in the world. And he likes to just do his thing, and he'll ask, and he'll say, hey, you want to do my podcast? And if somebody doesn't like, if he doesn't really know them or anything, he doesn't want to make it seem like, he's bothering people, and he's not, because people love to talk to him, but he's just like he really is the best. I was talking to somebody the other day, we were talking about him. He's a great human being. He really is. I hope that we can get The Rock on the show. It'd be great. I'm sure The Rock would want to talk.
Awesome.
It'd be great. Mike Joyce, I thought they were going to set themselves on fire, like some protesters have gone to protest wars. I figure that's what the Molotov cocktails are for. Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if they would have done that in this show. Like the places that they went in this show were pretty ballsy.
Yeah, definitely. That would have been pretty crazy, but I wouldn't have been shocked.
Yeah. Armada, will Maul have the same animation as Clone Wars and Rebels? I'm sure.
I'm sure.
And it should. It's consistent. It's the same thing. I'm sure it would.
Yeah. I like Clone Wars animation.
Yeah. Viz Wizard. We need an Andor level show about Operation Cinder post episode 6. So much untapped story there. Operation Cinder was Palpatine's posthumous plan to burn loyal worlds and erase the Empire with him. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, let's play into that kind of stuff too. Like, copy this, please. Someone go. Are you seeing everybody and how much they love this? Like, let's do more stuff like this. I really hope. Like, go ahead, Steph.
Yeah, that would be cool. I didn't even know about this, so that would be.
Great.
There's so much within it. You always think like, oh, what can they tell? But you forget that we only see the biggest parts of an explosion, but there's so much that leads into it.
Yes, exactly. Okay, next one. Dancing Dog 60. Did Rogue One do well box office wise? Yeah, it made $1 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to know exactly how much, but it pretty sure it made 1 point. Would it make 1.1? What did it make? Let's see. It made just over $1 billion. Yeah, it was like that was when they were firing, like, box office wise, they were firing it all. So it was Force Awakens, $1 billion. This $1 billion. Last Jedi, $1 billion. And even did episode 9 make?
I think so. I think
feel like
everything, all of them those ones did.
Let's see. What the hell was the last one called? I always forget. The hell
Rise
was
of
that
the
called?
Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. Rise of Skywalker made a little bit more than Rogue One. Yeah, they all of those minus Solo. Solo was the only one that didn't make $1 billion. Okay. So next one after that and we get Jonathan Rodriguez. Both side of our stupid and dumb in politics sides are hypocrites and believes in one thing and do another. I only just want a good movie, TV to escape from my reality, not to be lectured in preachy real life politics. Agree? I agree and disagree. What?
I love how they ended it. Agree?
Yeah, I agree and disagree at the same time, because I think what people don't, it's like when things are preachy and it feels like that's all it is preachy and it's beating you over the head. I've said this a million times over. There's so many movies that have messages. The question is it subtle? How does it play? Does it feel like it's part of the world? Andor to me feels like it's part of the world of what's going on there. Like Star Wars, the original Star Wars movies had politics and had themes and had messages and was based off of real world events and all that stuff too. So it just is it subtle? But Steph,
yeah, that's the best. I'm gonna end. I love the confidence. Agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. What you're talking about is the quality of writing, whether you might know it or not, because as a writer, you're taught and you realize after reading hundreds of scripts that every single script has a point of view. Absolutely, it is the lifeline of a movie or a show is the POV. They are telling a point. They might not have gone into it with saying, I'm going to tell a story about oppression and how people become a revolution. But stories become that, and then there is a very strong POV, and the best stories have a extremely strong POV. Whether or not you like the writing is its execution of the POV. So I agree and disagree with what you're saying.
Joshua Gonzalez, good luck to the next Star Wars project to keep up. Yeah, what is the next? I mean, it's Mandalorian and Grogu, I think, is the next thing, right? That's the next. It's the movie. Now,
I think so. Mm-hmm.
But going back to the last person who put that in there about the movies, right? As long as Mandalorian, do not be tricked. Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be a 2-hour long episode of the television show that was basically written. It was the entire next season condensed into a movie in the same way that what they did with Moana, right? Making it a live action though this time. And you got Jon Favreau who's directing it, but it's going to be a fun return to the Star Wars world. It's not going to be as layered as this. It won't be. It's the show though, the next show that is going to have big shoes to fill, because and I think it's Ahsoka season 2. This is why I said that before. I really hope Filoni reconsiders and doesn't write all the scripts himself, because it's too ego driven, and it's too like, I'm the only one that can write this. No, man, you really can't. Your dialogue's not that great. Your storytelling's good. You're a good storyteller, but your dialogue's not that great, and it comes off very cartoony. You really, really need some help. You need some punch up. But I don't know,
Yeah.
Steph, do you disagree?
No, I don't disagree with the fact that I don't think Filoni should write every single project that Star Wars does. I think that he should do the project that he feels very strongly about, which seems
he's
like
just writing Ahsoka. He's not writing the other stuff. He's writing the full season for Ahsoka, but I still think that's a bad idea.
Yeah, that's tough, because it's like, I don't know, like, that's his baby, so I don't know how you detach him from that. But I always think with most who are like visionaries, they need help with dialogue. A lot of people need punch-ups in dialogue. Even the best writers get punch-ups with dialogue. I think it's very important to be able to be open to criticism. Yeah. So it will be nice if he does have a more collaborative room for season 2.
That's what I mean. I'm not saying take him off it. I'm just saying, hey, you know what? Like, he's not a seasoned screenwriter. It's like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? Let's bring everybody in here. Here's where I want this to go. This is what I like to see. I need it punched up. I need better dialogue and stuff too. But this is the essence of what the scene is about. It's this, and this. And I think, you know, the problem that Lucas ran into is he's got a lot of yes men around him. I wonder if that's the same thing that's happened to Filoni.
That's interesting.
Yeah. The vitamin dealer. I still am not going to get over the fact that I called him the vitamin dealer one time. The vitamin dealer.
So British.
Yes, the vitamin. What if Andor is successful and the lesson they learn isn't quality, but they don't want people don't want the Force. Lightsabers are deep lore. And I hope that's not what the lesson is that they're going to take. And you never know. I don't think that's an unreasonable question to ask, because this is the type of stuff that does happen in rooms, in the same way that you look at what Lucasfilm did after Solo Bomb. They're like, no. People don't want to see standalone stories. They don't want to see Obi-Wan. Let's make it a TV show instead. Let's not do that. That's the type of stuff that happens. That's old school mentality in just how this business works. And it's the same thing that I said. No, it's not that. It's, you got to make good stuff, and you got to make things that people are going to care about. And if you go more into the quality, into the lightsabers and all those different things, I would love to see. I'm telling you, Tony Gilroy doing an Old Republic show. I don't know if I would be happier. I really just don't know if I'd be happier than that.
I know, it just never gonna happen.
Never gonna.
I don't want to say never, but it's
as
as close to never as we can get.
You can say never. But look, you are about you need about 40 more to tie Roxy right now. You're at 37. So
okay,
keep
it up, guys.
Half an hour
yeah,
left.
we
need a big comeback. And we might be getting close to the end here too. Dancing Dogs 60. If you have the chance to choose between the evil and lesser of two evils, choose less evil. Duh. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, it's a great quote by Obi-Wan. Azura Wolf. My Star Wars has always been the pre-Disney Legends universe. That said, Andor is the best non-Lucas Star Wars, no contest. As far as, like, professionally written, real quality HBO Max type television, how do you disagree with that?
Right. Yeah.
The Third Man 3. What is she proposing? Yes.
We need Mike.
Yes, we need him back. Steph, what I will tell you, though, is this. This is the same thing you asked me beforehand. Do these three, follow up for this one. What I will tell everyone that is going into next week's episodes, do not watch these as don't watch episode 12 as if it is the series finale, because it isn't. Andor is Rogue One is the series finale. Like, this is if you're like, oh man, the episode 12 is like, I need to see more. Go watch Rogue One. It is literally the series finale. So you have to watch it that way. You can't watch it like going, oh, that's the series finale. It's like, no, Rogue One is the series finale. Jacob Fleck, can't wait to rewatch Rogue One after Andor finale. Yes, you're going to.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. Mm-hmm.
All right, Steph, I've said this to you a billion times over, and then it's never been this way. But for now, this is the last one.
Okay.
Noah C., how long do you think it will be before Star Wars gets away from the normal Luke Palps timeline? They need a new regime. When they get a new regime, that's when it's going to happen. And there's no new regime just yet. But again, like I said, my biggest fear is, and it seems to be pushing more towards this, it seems like they're going to give Filoni the ultimate chair when she leaves, and then you're just going to get the same old shit is the problem. Dancing Dog 60. If you ever played the Sega Genesis Spider-Man game, the Batman level used to piss me the hell off. It took me forever to get past him. Jesus. I didn't even know that Batman was in Spider-Man.
Yeah, what?
I didn't even know that. That's
Sega
crazy.
Genesis. I haven't even heard of this.
No, me either. Okay, so right now, we are at 39 and about to sign off. However, I can't even tell you how many times on the way to sign off, people throw in their questions, and the next thing you know, Steph has won the week. I don't know if that's going to happen now, but I'm going to give Steph a chance to. Oh, there you go. Armada, better pitch: GTA show or movie based on games? Grand Theft Auto show or movie based on games? A movie based on games. Oh, a show or a movie. I think movie. I think a movie for Grand Theft Auto would than a show. What do you think?
Okay, I've played Grand Theft Auto way back in its original form. I don't know how it's evolved or changed. I've seen some of the commercials for this newest one coming out.
Yeah.
But what is the I don't remember a story at all. I just remember that you could just like do whatever you wanted. basically, and you're stealing some stuff and getting away with it. Is there more? I saw in this trailer there's more of a story happening.
That goes back to what I was saying before. You'd have to you can't, it just can't be about a guy, throwing people out of cars.
Like randomly beating up strippers. It's like,
what?
what?
There's got to be a story behind it.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the last one for now. Peter Kolenko. Thank you, Peter. Episode 8 is soul crushing. I'm from Ukraine originally, and this whole false flag up to invading, destroying Gorman hits on a deep level. Yeah. The distress signal with the
For
voice.
sure.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Like, as Steph said, stuff from today, stuff of yesteryear. It's all in there for sure. Okay. Well, Steph, I'm going to give you a chance to sign off, and in the time to sign off, maybe there's another one that comes in. If not, we will be back here tomorrow with Winston and Coy. What do you got?
At Steph Sabra, and hopefully I'll be launching my YouTube channel, but I'm doing all my editing right now, so that's what's taking me longer than I thought. But I'll keep you guys updated.
Okay, but before we go, there is another one. Juan Truth. Would you like a series with Mon Mothma as the lead called Bothans, leading to the Return of the Jedi? I mean, I'd like them to, if anything right now with her, it would be great. But I think that I'm just a broken record here. Who's writing it? Like because you looked at what Genevieve O'Reilly did under the writing of Tony Gilroy and his brother, right? You looked at them together and what they did, and that's they knew what they wanted from her. I just would like to see good writing,
Yeah.
Armada. Black Bag movie is now on Peacock. Reaction? No reaction to it, because I just don't feel like that would perform. I do think, so Brett's here and we were talking about doing a reaction, and I might actually do one with him. He and I might, and we're not going to crack jokes on it, obviously. We're probably going to watch Warfare, which is what I want to see. And I haven't seen that one yet. So Warfare is one we're going to see. And then Minecraft comes out soon. I'll probably be watching that with either Tina or Brett. Depends. Yes, Brett's specialty is not cracking jokes. So we'll see what happens. Nate, are you going to watch the OG trilogy after Rogue One? I actually feel like that's how I'm going to watch it with Sam. I think I'm going to show Sam Rogue One first, and then episode 4, 5, and 6.
Is she watching Andor?
No.
Okay, I would be so curious what a person who hadn't seen Rogue One.
I know, but the problem is, it's like I just don't think I'd be able to get her to watch those on her own.
I know, I get it.
Yeah, but I agree with you. Dancing Dog 60, is pirating movies still a thing? Sure, of course it is. Yeah,
someone asked me about that. They were like, "Do you ever just get your movies online?" And I said, "I am too big of the theater is my love. I could never."
No way. Peter, do we know what Luthen and Mon's relationship is, or how they got involved in a rebellion together? I mean, yeah, you see that in season 1. They kind of, Mon's going through in season 1. She's like a politician who starts to kind of question things, and he's already been at it. And I don't want to ruin anything else, because there's a lot that I could say about Luthen, but I'll let you watch the rest before you do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure, Steph, as always. Thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure being with you guys here today on the show. Thank you so much. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. Make sure you check out Steph. Make sure you go to the Clips channel. The Clips channel is very important. I hope you guys are going over there and checking it out. We'll see you guys tomorrow. It's Capes and Cows. We're on tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. tomorrow, not 2. I'm going to go a little earlier tomorrow. So just so everybody knows, we'll put the thing out there so everybody knows what's going on. Thanks again for being here. We appreciate you. We'll see you on the flip side. Bye-bye.